start again. It's a rich thing.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video and welcome back to another episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly. Today, we will be dissecting the previous week for the Chicago Bulls and looking forward to the last remaining week that the Chicago Bulls have to look forward to in the regular season. Now, I'm not necessarily sure if this is going to be the second last or last Bulls Weekly video. I'm honestly not sure. It all really comes down to how we, advance into the play-in tournament, potentially make our way out of the, play-in tournament and hopefully into the playoffs. But even then, probably not going to do the Bulls Weekly. I'll probably just dissect the series that we may have to play, or the game that we may have to play, rather than just discussing a couple of weeks in where the series might not be finished and stuff like that. Again, hopefully you understand, but nevertheless, that's a little bit of ways away. We might not even need to get to that point. Let's focus on what we have coming up for the rest of the season, as well as looking at the awards for the Chicago Bulls as well. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, their previous week, and of course, the difficult challenge they may have in their upcoming week. We had 4 games to look forward to this time, ladies and gentlemen, and the Bulls ended up going a 2-2 record on the week. A neutral week, which isn't terrible, but isn't necessarily great as well. It means that there are a couple of opportunities where we've had to win games that we let slip away, as well as the fact that we have won the games that we probably needed to win. Let's start off with that first game, and it was against the Los Angeles Lakers, and we won this game 118-108. This was a game where LeBron returned. He was doubtful to play, but he ended up playing that game. The Bulls looked dominant. The Bulls played really elite defense in this game, and everything just went our way. We were making shots. It was fantastic to see. And when the Bulls play like this, we can beat any team in the NBA. It is a shame that we couldn't really get that, back-to-back performance against the Lakers, but we also couldn't get that back-to-back performance against the Clippers, which was an actual back-to-back game, and we lost that game 124-112. This is the game I believe Alex Caruso didn't play, and the Clippers were just an absolute monster on the offensive end. The shots that were easy to make, they made. The shots that were hard to make, they made. And at the end of the day, I could question the Bulls' defense in this game. Sure, I can. I could question the Bulls' defense in most of these games that we've played. But nevertheless, I do think sometimes outstanding offense was just played by the Los Angeles Clippers. And even if we had brought our best defensive tenacity, we may have not been able to walk away with a win in that game. Sometimes the NBA is just like that. It's that type of environment. Any team can get hot at any given time, and even if you're playing defense, sometimes defense is just not good enough sometimes. It is what it is. But again, a wasted opportunity. A game that I thought we competed well in for the most part, but we let slip away. Speaking of letting us slip away, our revenge game, well, the Lakers' revenge game, I should say, took place in Chicago, and we lost that game 121-110. I truly think in my soul the score flattered us in that game. It was unacceptable by the Chicago Bulls the way they approached and played that game. I'm not necessarily talking about shooting poorly, even though that is unacceptable, shooting 5 from 20 from the three-point line and everything like that. And again, constantly fouling and everything. There were a lot of things that were unacceptable about this game. But the one thing that I really thought was unacceptable is, again, I'm sitting there questioning the Bulls' energy and defensive tenacity once again. And I saw it against Philly. I didn't want to see it again against the Lakers. And lo and behold, we saw it against the Lakers. So that brings a message to me, no matter how much we've truly improved. You might think we've improved dramatically. You might think we've improved in a minor way. Some people might even go out on a limb and say we've not improved at all. But one thing that can't be taken away from this Bulls team is that you can see performances like that one against the Lakers that is not good enough, lackadaisical, and unacceptable. So that is a message that we can see that team at any given time. And in a playoff situation, you're more likely to see a team like that because it's in a serious competition and it's not going to be all in transition and stuff like that. I am worried about the Chicago Bulls, and if they do make the playoffs, how they'll be able to approach the games. But we'll wait and see how things truly go. It's going to be a difficult one, I'll say. But anyway, a loss against the Lakers. We move over to the game against the Charlotte Hornets. Took place earlier today away from home, and we won this game 121-91. Again, this was a game where Charlotte basically had their whole team out. Literally, all of their key players from Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward, all of them, they were all out of this game. Dennis Smith Jr. as well. He had a brace on his leg. Hopefully he's okay with that. I didn't know why he had a brace on his leg. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Hopefully he's okay. But yes, their whole team was out. And they played a lot of their youngsters, a lot of their G League players, and they just got opportunities to let the young guys play. And the young guys put up a fight, but this was a clear and expected win for the Bulls. And if we got anything but the win, I would have been fuming at this game. We needed to win that game, and we won the game. So I'll take that as a standard win. Has it impressed me? Not necessarily. Does it make me believe everything's going to be okay? Not necessarily. But it puts us in a further comfortable spot, and that's where we need to be right now. I do not want to be on the final end of the game just thinking about, man, one Indiana Pacers win, and we're done for. Or one Washington Wizards win, and we're done for. Or one Bulls blowout loss and we're done for. I don't want to be thinking about these things. I want us to be in a place where we're 2 games or 3 games ahead of the competition behind us. And that will be key with 5 games left to go towards our success. Because again, the math adds up. If we're 3 games above a team like the Wizards or the Pacers, they're not going to be able to catch up. It will be impossible for them to do so. So again, it's something that I hope we see, man. But only time will tell. Let's look at the awards, ladies and gentlemen. The awards we usually give out are the awards for the Must Improve of the Week, the Defensive Player of the Week, the Sixth Man of the Week, and the Player of the Week. And this also, again, I think every week proves to be fairly difficult from the last. And I think it's understandable why that is. Again, some players missed this week a lot. For example, Caruso missed a game, Drummond missed some games or missed a game. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to pick all of these awards, and I don't even know if I have the answer of some of these awards. For example, I don't know who to give the Must Improve to. I have people in my head. Again, Andre Drummond, but he had 2 great games this week, and he missed a game this week as well, so definitely not him. Ayo, I thought Ayo had a couple of good games. You saw Alex Caruso maybe, but he missed a game, but Alex Caruso is definitely not in that conversation anyway, so it's hard to pick. I don't know who to pick. Maybe I should skip it this week. I'm not too sure. The Defensive Player of the Week, I feel like I'm going to give it to Alex Caruso. Again, I just think that his presence in one of those games, I think it was the Clippers game that he missed, was absolutely key. We absolutely needed Alex Caruso in that game, and I don't necessarily know if that changes the outcome, but I think it's clear as day that I think he brought a lot of defensive energy that we needed in this game, or in that game. And again, the game against Charlotte, he was absolutely everywhere. And granted, a young team, an inexperienced team, but Alex Caruso caused a lot of turnovers. Maybe he didn't get a lot of steals, but caused a lot of turnovers by his defensive energy. So I will pick him. It's obviously close, but yeah, that's where my direction will go down. The Sixth Man of the Week, I will give to Coby White. Again, the guy is close to getting double-doubles every night at this point. He had a 17-point and 9-assist performance this week. He had a very good game last time out as well. And again, he's really improved his playmaking over the last couple of weeks. It seems to be a top priority for him right now. And it's a welcome addition to the team, man. We need a player that could go and get 7-8 assists a night. We need that type of player because this team is very stagnant half the time. So to have someone that's able to pass the ball and have it actually lead to something, it's nice to see. And yeah, Coby White, far and away. Look, Coby White is probably our 6th man of the year in terms of the Chicago Bulls side of things, not the NBA. But if you're looking at who's been the best bench player consistently all year long, I think it has to be Coby White. He's been on the bench most of the season, and he's played very well this season. So, there you go. Coby White's been fantastic for us, put it that way. The player of the week for me, controversial one, I'm going to give it to Nikola Vucevic. I thought his last game was very, very good against the Charlotte Hornets. I thought his game against the Lakers was phenomenal. And yes, I think he got ejected in the first game, so that is obviously a topic of discussion. He only had 4 points in that game. But yeah, outside of that, I thought he played fairly well for most of these times out. So I'll pick him. Controversial, I know, but again, the guy dropped more than 30 points against the Lakers in their last bout, and obviously against Charlotte, he obviously brought things to the table as well. I thought he was okay. I thought he was good. Again, I thought the whole team really worked well together this week when we won those games. So yeah, it is what it is. Let's move over into the next couple of games. Again, this will be the second last, I guess, full episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly. The next week's Bulls Weekly will be talking about the games, but maybe won't necessarily be talking about the upcoming games because it will be the play-in tournament by then. We'll see if we make it or not. But then after that, I'll probably just focus on the play-in tournament and not necessarily make a whole Bulls Weekly about it and stuff like that. So, we've got 5 games to look forward to this week, starting off with a game against the Memphis Grizzlies. For me, at 5:30 in the morning, absolutely hate it. The worst time ever. Well, technically, there's going to be one that's worse than that, but yeah, that's going to be a hard game for the Bulls regardless of the time. I think Memphis are a team we can beat for sure. Just looking at how we played them last game, the last game that we played, if our offense was anywhere remotely close to where it can be, we could have beat that Memphis Grizzlies team. But they're a hell of a team, no taking that away from them, no denying that stance from the Chicago Bulls. But yeah, interesting game, I would say. Let's see what happens in that regard. But yeah, tough game, don't really know which direction it could go down. Memphis will obviously be the favourites, we'll see if that ends up being the case. Then we've got a must-win game against the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks, I believe, sit right now 8th in the Eastern Conference, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So, the Bulls sit 10th. We're 2 games apart from each other right now. Depending on if we can win or lose that Memphis game, and depending on what Atlanta do in their schedule, that could be a game that puts us a little bit closer. Then all of a sudden, Atlanta can maybe fall below us if we continue to win our games. Now, that's easier said than done. Our schedule is not easy. But at the end of the day, it gives us a chance. And a chance is all I really want for the Chicago Bulls team right now. I hate being in a situation when we have to rely on other teams to fall for us to gain. I want to be a team that sets the standards, not follows the standards, I guess, in many ways. And we're a team right now that's following the standards, and it's very disappointing. And sometimes we don't even meet those standards. So, we've got to beat that Atlanta Hawks team. It's going to be a close game. For all we know, it's probably going to go to overtime and stuff like that, and we will suffer for it. But it is what it is. But we got a back-to-back after that against the Milwaukee Bucks. Atlanta Bucks, those are 2 extremely difficult games, and the Bulls need to win both of them. But if you're asking me which one I think we would win the Atlanta Hawks game, and we would lose to the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, Milwaukee recently had a very bad loss to the Celtics, if I'm not mistaken, so it's not like they're completely invincible, are they? They do have their weaknesses, they do have their down points, but that's a team competing for a championship as we speak right now. They're one of the favorites. People consider them the favorites in many ways to walk out of the Eastern Conference. So, that's a game that's extremely hard for us to win, but it's a win that we must try to go and get. Then we got a game against the Dallas Mavericks away from home. This one will probably have Luka and Kyrie. Considering the last game we versed Dallas, they didn't have any of those guys. They were very much weakened team, and the Bulls had one of their best offensive performances of the season in that game. One of the most enjoyable games to watch of our Bulls season. I recommend you go watch it. It was a fantastic watch, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will translate over into this game against Dallas. But if we can't beat the Bucks, you've got to have to try and beat Dallas. And then the Bulls, in their last game of the season, will be versing the Pistons. Now, the last game, first and foremost, that game's at 3 a.m. So if you thought I was crying for 5:30, I'm probably going to be crying for 3 o'clock as well. But nevertheless, whatever the case may be, it is what it is. This game could be very different for both teams. If the Bulls have set this, set up their opportunity to be in the play-in, they may play a lot of their G League players and their role players. If Detroit, I'm assuming, will be playing most of their G League and role players in this game as well. They've only got 16 wins on their season. They're trying to lose as many games as possible. I don't think they're going to come out here and, I guess, play some of their best players in this game. Maybe they will, and they'll obviously get a win. But at the end of the day, depending on both situations of the teams, will depend on who plays in these games. So I think that's very hard to predict. But nonetheless, that's our last game of the season, and that game could potentially mean so much more for the Chicago Bulls. And again, if Detroit do end up sitting most of their players in this game, and we are one win away from advancing into the playoffs or into the play-in tournament, I'm very happy Detroit is that team, just in case they do sit out a lot of their players like what Charlotte did against us this time out. But again, the Bulls got to win the game. We can't just accept that Detroit going to sit out all their players for this season, and all of a sudden we still lose. You know, you got to still get the job done. Don't fall and crack under that pressure. But that's it. Bulls Weekly, done and dusted. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.